What happened in the previous chapter was Lance Crown defeated Charles Contini. Lance obtained the key necessary for opening the containment box where Mash was located. However, when Charles offered to help him get back to the room where Dot was, he suddenly closed his portal, causing Lance to drop the key into the portal. Fortunately, his hand was not cut off, and Dot immediately saw the fallen key. He faced Lavis and Galuf, and that's where their battle began. Dot immediately used the Era Cruise to increase his magic power. He defended their friendship with Mash and gave it his all. Nevertheless, it only showed here that the two Waka students were too strong for him to face alone. Even though he was beaten to a pulp, he continued to fight and believed that Mash would become a divine visionary. Because of that, Lavis was enraged and tortured him again. However, our protagonist in this chapter did not back down and insisted to them that he trusted Mash and would not give up even if he dies. His magic power spiked again due to the emotions he was feeling, and he unleashed his last attack, the machine gun X-Plomb. His attack hit, but when the smoke cleared, it turned out that the two Waka students were still unharmed. Suddenly, Lavis noticed something and saw Galuf next to him coughing up blood. It turned out that Mash was responsible for this, and Dot had indeed planned to stick to him to get the key and managed to open the confinement box. In the end, Mash took a stance and punched Lavis with extraordinary strength that shook his world. While Lavis was feeling the impact of the God of Cream Puffs, our hero said to see who would be eating dirt after that. What's up, Onii-Chans? Welcome back to our manga recap series about Mashle, Magic and Muscles, a story with a mix of Harry Potter and One Punch Man. So, let's start the video. As we continue the exciting story of Mash in a world full of magic, we return to his face-off with Lavis. It turns out that Lavis managed to deflect his attack using a magnet. Mash lunged again, and just as his punch was about to hit Lavis, he suddenly cast Attract, which resulted in Galuf taking Mash's punch. They were surprised by this while Lavis just smiled. Galuf was thrown aback by the strength of Mash's punch, and Dot couldn't believe that Lavis used his own friend as a shield. Galuf wondered how he could do that to him, so Lavis explained that didn't he know that only one can win, and they all use others to reach the top, so why wouldn't he do that? He only has one goal, to rise above them all. Did he think that he cares how he achieves that? Because of this, Galuf's feelings were hurt and he reminisced about how Lavis asked him to help him. Lavis sweet-talked him and said that once he reaches the top, he would give him a position in the Bureau of Magic. After that, Galuf got angry and called Lavis a traitor and tried to attack him. However, he was quickly knocked down by Lavis' magnet ball. While Galuf was lying down, Lavis said not to suddenly become moralistic, and it's also his fault for believing in him. He explained that from the beginning, they were fighting for themselves. Friends, companions, those are useless. And Mash, Domina, and the Visionaries, he would use them to reach the top, even if it means sacrificing his own family to achieve the victory he wants. Lavis pulled out his second wand again, which surprised Dot. Lavis said that life is a competition, and there is no place for their naive ideals such as trust. He is tired of watching the friendship between Dot and Mash, and he released an extraordinary magic aura. He cast Magnet's lightning balls, and out came small positive balls. Mash had the letter N appeared on his face again, so he commented, "Here we go again." When the magnet stuck to him, nothing happened, so he was puzzled. Soon after, he was enveloped by electricity, which caused him to dance the Gimme Gimme. Just kidding. Lavis explained that the second form of his magic is lightning, and when it sticks to his magnet, they will experience a high voltage shock. He wished Mash good luck in approaching him. He declared the end of Mash and sent more balls towards him. Mash decided to run away from them, which surprised Dot. "Nice try," Lavis said, and explained that the faster Mash runs, the faster the balls will also be. Before long, Mash was overtaken by the balls and they again released electricity. Because of this, our hero was stunned. Dot commented in his mind, saying that those are worse than spike balls and he doesn't know how Mash will turn the tide. Lavis continued to send balls while Mash kept running. Mash tried to trick the balls and quickly made a 90-degree turn. Dot realized that Mash did that so that before the balls could reach him, they would hit the wall. However, Lavis said that that wouldn't be enough to stop the balls, and they suddenly started chasing Mash again. Mash kept running while Dot thought about how he could escape them. As this was happening, Lavis laughed and said that Mash wouldn't be able to stop them. Sorry. Mash suddenly stopped and took off his shoes. Because of this, Dot wondered what he was going to do. Mash spun his shoe and caught the balls one by one using it. Dot was speechless at this and just closed his eyes. Mash had captured all the balls and Dot finally broke into tears because of this. Mash's rotation gradually sped up and before long, he threw his shoe, which was filled with balls with incredible strength. Dot was astonished, wondering if Mash was seriously thinking of a hammer toss as the solution. Lavis looked at this and questioned if Mash knew that his shoelace would act as an insulator. Mash had apparently stopped his technique without even touching him, which somewhat impressed him. While thinking, Mash suddenly asked if he could speak frankly. Lavis had said it was Gallof's fault for trusting him, but Mash insisted that everyone knew lying was a real jerk move, and he called him an idiot. Lavis smiled at this and said that the fight was getting exciting. The place was filled with an intense aura as the two stared at each other. Lavis suddenly released a powerful magical energy and said that they could talk about their ideals anytime, but it would be nothing more than worthless to him. Dot was surprised by the spike in Lavis' magical power. As he prepared to attack, Lavis said that if Mash wanted to prove his right, he would have to defeat him first. But he should know that despite all his efforts to fight, he had not struggled at all, so his victory was assured. At that moment, he cast his magnet's lightning second magic. Dot was shocked at what he heard, while Mash said, "What did he say?" Lavis explained that by combining two types of magic, he could release a more powerful second. He cast Invariable Railgun. He pointed it and started charging his attack. Before long, he fired a tremendously powerful energy blast towards Mash. It didn't hit Dot and Mash. While lying down, Dot was stunned because he didn't hear anything even after the firing of that railgun. He was nervous about how powerful the railgun can be. Mash, on the other hand, couldn't understand what was happening. Lavis explained that it was not an ordinary cannon. Due to the Lorentz force, that magic uses a strong electric charge to create a magnetic field that propels a given object along with the rails with explosive amounts of force at almost incalculable speed. Mash explained that it didn't matter if Lavis explained it to him because he still wouldn't understand. Lavis said that its projectiles move as fast as Mach 7. That's about 8,000 kilometers per hour, which surprised Dot. He said he could destroy an entire country with it and compete with visionaries and many others. But now, he would aim his second at Mash. Mash couldn't avoid it, assuming he cared about his useless friend. Levis charged the railgun again and said they should show the power of their friendship. Because of this, Dot was nervous and said that even Mash wouldn't be able to avoid an attack moving at 8,000 kilometers per hour. He shouted and said that Mash should let it go, but suddenly noticed Mash doing something. Mash was creating his own echo and seemed to announce that he was the next batter. Our protagonist wound up his wand and made it into a baseball bat. Because of this, both Lavis and Dot just stared. Lavis laughed and asked if that was the plan Mash had come up with to stop his second. He taunted Mash and asked if he had a brain. The speed rate of his attack was incomprehensible. No one could defeat a projectile traveling at 8,000 kilometers per hour. Dot explained that assuming they were 10 meters away from Lavis, they would have a 0.003 second before his attack hit them, making it impossible to avoid. While he was explaining, our protagonist managed to hit that attack, causing the projectile to deviate. The projectile hit the wall behind them, creating a large hole. Both Lavis and Dot could not believe what had happened, and they both looked foolish. Lavis was open-mouthed, exclaiming that no human could match a speed of 8,000 kilometers per second. Mash explained that if one studied the wind-up, hitting a fastball wasn't that difficult. He also taunted Lavis, suggesting he might not understand sports. Because of this, Lavis was irked and thought to himself that Mash should not be cocky with him after a single paltry foul tip. He shouted for Mash to be quiet and said that their roles in society were decided from the moment they were born and his position was at the top of people like Mash. He launched another incredibly fast attack. Nevertheless, Mash was still able to hit it, which surprised him. Lavis repeated his attack, but Mash easily hit it again. He thought that as the son of the head of the Bureau of Magic, he seemed to have been born to be at the top, one of the elite. While he was thinking this, Mash kept hitting all his attacks. He thought that he needed to be the best and he had used everything he could to achieve it. Dot noticed that Mash's timing was getting better as time passed. Lavis continued to be shocked and nervous because of what was happening. He thought he was doing what he should be doing. He was defeating all the magic users who faced him. He was at the top of the magic using world. As Mash continued to hit his attacks, Lavis thought about why he was losing to a musclehead who also couldn't use magic. In the end, Mash managed to solidly hit one of the attacks and directed it at Lavis' cannon. Dot still couldn't believe what had happened. Suddenly, Mash appeared in front of Lavis, causing Lavis to wonder when he got there. Mash pointed out what Lavis had said earlier about not even breaking a sweat in their battle so far, and pointed out that now he was sweating. In the end, our protagonist wound up and once again Lavis tasted the fierceness of the god of cream puffs, this time on his face. And that's where this video ends. Do you think Lavis' brain got rattled by that punch? What happened to the rest of our comrades? Write your comments down below. If you want more anime and manga recaps, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on new videos.